Welcome to the UNA Baseball Review. Here are your hosts, Mike King and Jeff Hodges.
Hello and welcome to another season of the UNA Baseball Review. I'm Jeff Hodges alongside UNA head baseball coach Mike Keene. Coach Keene, the UNA Lions off to a great start, 16-5 overall, ranked in every national poll in Division II, and already have a series win in Gulf South Conference play, so a lot of things going well for you right now. What have really been the keys here in the early season to your success?
I think the defense has really been one of the keys to our success early, and I think our ability to move runners over. Our defense has been outstanding. I know most of the year we were feeling about 980 as a team, which is, especially in collegiate baseball, is extremely high. So I think that was one of the things we were able to get a lot of outs, and the more outs you can get, the better off you can be. So, and I think our pitching's really improved as we progressed.
Going into the season, you had 5 all-conference players returning. You knew that was going to be key. One, J.P. LeMunyon, you moved from third base to the outfield. But you've also had a lot of new guys come in. Your pitching staff has been consistent. So the returnees are giving you what you thought they would, and the new guys are fitting in well, it seems like. Yeah,
it was, coming back, you looked at the position player-wise. We felt we had an opportunity to, to have a lot of guys returning, get a lot of strength in that area. One of the question marks was obviously in our pitching staff as far as the bullpen. And really what's turned out to be is 3 freshmen, true freshmen, have really taken over that role. Jacob Westerhouse and Brantley Clonch, and then we've been closing with Ben Seabrook. Now, to say that going into the season, we thought 3 freshmen would be in that role. We were really surprised, but they've all done a very good job for us.
Last year, you had the luxury of having the same 3 guys that pitched the weekend series do it throughout the season. You had 2 of those back this year in Chad Bonner and Johnny Hornbuckle. Michael Watkins is filled in that other role, but as you said, the mystery was really the bullpen, and those freshmen have really done a fantastic job.
And I think that was going into the season, I kind of felt it was going to take us about 15 games to really kind of figure out what role everybody was going to take, not only our lineup, but especially in the pitching staff. And we knew Johnny and Chad were probably going to be on our weekend, and hopefully they're going to provide some consistency there. And then Michael Watkins has really been in the number 2, and he's had some really good outings, and then others he's been okay. The thing about Michael is if you look at the opponent's batting average, they just have not hit him real hard. He's kind of created some of the problems for himself.
And the Lions 16-5, but hitting just .281, which is our lowest batting average since 1992. But the bats seem to have really made a difference this year in Division II.
That was, looking at it, I was going, wow, this is, we were so used to hitting well over 300, and then I all of a sudden looked at what everybody else is doing in the GSC. So I think this year kind of shows that the bats are making a difference in the league, and nobody's really tearing it up. And even as a national level, I've talked to some others in the South region and in the Peach Belt teams, and they're having the same situation. It's just the game's changed, and you got to adapt. And I think our offensive schemes fits well, and I think that's why we're able to win some games, because we can move runners.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with more Lion baseball after this.
The UNA Baseball Review is brought to you by TNT Fireworks, Shows Distributing Budweiser, and the TVA Credit Union of the Shows.
TNT Fireworks is proud to support the University of North Alabama and the Lion baseball team. Like the UNA baseball program, TNT Fireworks is committed to excellence. Our product, service, and teamwork are the reasons we are America's #1 selling fireworks brand. Check us out at TNTfireworks.com. And remember, if it's not TNT, it's not fireworks. TNT Fireworks encourages the entire Shoals area to support head coach Mike Keene and his UNA Lions by attending a game at Mike D. Lane Field. Roar Lions!
Daddy, can I get a puppy, please?
Okay, Sammy. It's bedtime.
Oh, 10 more minutes, please.
10 more.
Yes. Please. Hey, Daddy. Will you buy us some alcohol for my party tonight? We'll be right here at the house. You can even take the keys. Please?
Absolutely not.
Each time I turn around.
Never let me have anything.
Don't be a pushover.
I hate you.
Be a parent. Prevent. Don't provide alcohol to minors.
TVA Credit Union was established by the Farm Credit Administration on June 24, 1936, with 7 branches full of financial experts offering personal advice. TVA Credit Union offers low rates for mortgages, auto and personal loans, as well as higher rates on savings and CDs. TVA Credit Union is member-owned and operated, and now open to the community. TVA Credit Union is everybody's credit union. Give TVA Credit Union a call today, 256-386-3000, or stop by any branch.
Welcome back to the UNA Baseball Review. Coach King, we mentioned earlier that the Lions are already into Gulf South Conference play, and it's a little different than it has been in the past years with no more divisional play, all the GSC teams in together. So actually conference play came a little earlier in the schedule, but already had a great home series with West Alabama. We were able to win 2 out of 3, and that's always a good start when you win that first series.
Yeah, it's, you know, when you go into each weekend, you hope to get that series win, and getting the sweep and winning the 2 games on Saturday was huge because it took obviously a little pressure off you on Sunday. But obviously, you would have liked to have a 3-game sweep with that. But we'll take that 2 out of 3 every time.
And of course, all 3 games were good ball games, good close games. And West Alabama came in struggling a little bit as we get into the highlights here. I'm going to look at some footage. But you're able to win that first game 5-3, won the second game 7-3. Both hard-fought games, then lost the game on Sunday.
Yeah, you know, going into it, we knew you can never look at the record when you go into GSC teams, and we knew their pitching staff was going to be very talented. So I knew their pitching would be able to keep us in the game, or keep them in the game. And I think it was going to come how well we were going to play. And I said defensively we didn't play great, but we were able to have Johnny pitched really well the first game and kept us in it, and we were able to get some big hits and forced him to make some mistakes and able to come out with a couple wins.
And as we look at the highlights from the game. Again, you had a lot of new guys. This is their first GSC series. You had a lot of experience, but like I said, it's kind of a half and half. But for the young guys to get out there and get that win the first game and then have the sweep that day was pretty big for you.
Yeah, and that's what you just don't know. You know, everything's so different once you get into GSC play, and you kind of want to come out strong. And I think the here was the experience of Johnny. You know, he's been in the middle of a lot of big games, so he knew how important it was, and he came out right away throwing strikes, attacking the zone, and that's something we haven't. Early, he's kind of struggled, but I thought this was by far his best outing, and he probably could have thrown a complete game, but unfortunately, we didn't play as well defensively as we have been, and it forced us to go to the bullpen when we had a left-on left matchup.
And Johnny in a little different role. He was pitching the 7-inning games last year, pitching the 9-inning game this year. But he almost no-hit West Alabama last season. Right. Had a great outing against them and got into the 8th inning of this one.
And this is where you look at a team, you go, well, they're not really that good of a hitting team, and obviously they are. But I think this is something that we've done extremely well this year. As you can see that relay, and you'll see this on that play if you notice it. Our guys where the alignment was correct. We had our double cut, and the guy actually overthrew the shortstop, but Michael Smith was in the position where he's supposed to be, was able to catch and made a nice strike, and then Drew Parker caught and made a great play to the plate there and tagged him out to stop the run. And here we're trying to get out of the inning, get the ground ball, and get us back in there. And that's that run right there, you shut that down. So defense stepped up right there and made a nice play.
You can feel a little momentum change there because Johnny giving them a couple walks, put a couple guys on base, but you're able to get out of it without any runs scored.
Right, and we've had that. I think Drew did a really good job of catching first and then putting down the tag, and there you go again. And I thought again, this is where our speed in the outfield, and that's why we have there's one of the faster outfields we've had in a while. But Josh Doyle goes in there and makes just a great catch, and again. Now, instead of being a foul ball, another opportunity, you get an out. And here we come in and do it again. So that's 2 times right there that both those balls could have dropped, that don't get them extra at-bats and get outs when we can. So 2 great plays, and that was by Darmal Moore out in left field. Now we're out of the inning. And both of those could have had an extra bat, another hit, could have had something going, but our defense, again, was able to bail them out.
And the outfield was where you lost everybody from last year. So you put J.P. LeMunyon from third and center with Darmal Moore and Josh Doyle giving you great defensive help on either side.
And that's, like I said, we try to keep there, and we always talk about our defense. We're trying to get out here and get some things going, and we get a ball there that they get a miscommunication, and that's kind of what we were taking an advantage of. We were waiting for a mistake. They do. They had the ball was up there, and they don't communicate, and the ball drops. So now they allow us to get us in scoring position, and there's a really good job of getting a pitch over the middle of the plate and not trying to do too much and just stay through the middle. And now we got some things going. And now, especially with Darmal, how much he runs, it gives us a chance to maybe get some things going here. We walk, and then now, again, we get the bases loaded.
And you have had those stretches early in the season where we don't even get a hit for the first 2 or 3 innings or at some point for a couple of innings, but then we manage to put it all together, and you get a walk and somebody follows up with a hit, and like you said, now you've got something going, bases loaded, right. And then Doyle puts one through the right side.
And that's and I think that's what, again, there's 2 guys that really didn't try to do too much with it. They got the pitch they could hit, and they go with the other way, and able to take it to right field. And, we got Darmal at second base, who's extremely fast, so we're going to go ahead and try to score him, and we're able to make a good slide and barely make it underneath there and take it, take the lead 2-0. And then
Jake Long's really been your best hitter in the early season here.
And Jake's been, he's really bailed us out a lot of games. He's been one of the biggest RBI guys in clutch situation. Here he comes up again, and next thing you know, we're getting there and making things happen. We're up 3-0, and again, by moving up on there, gets by him. We got another guy in second base, and so we got another chance. And here JP walks. I think that's something that last year. They know him this year, and I think he's done just a really good job of being patient, taking walks, because they're pitching around him, being careful, and and the thing about him, he gets on first base, he's fast enough where he can continue to steal bases, and then we get
Josh Carpenter up with the guy in scoring position there. Yes. He's hitting over 500 with runners in scoring position this season.
And that's what I was just going to say there. He's been, probably when he gets going in scoring position, his concentration really increases, and he has good at bats. And when you got guys down in your lineup and your 6 and 7 guys that are like Carpenter and Andrew Allman, those are 2 really good hitters. So it gives us depth in our lineup when we can get guys in base. You can't relax to those guys, and including that gets Parker and then our number 9 guy. So, go ahead.
Well, I'm saying Carpenter, a veteran for you. I mean, it's his 2nd season, but he's just a sophomore.
Yes. And that's what I think is Josh has got to continue to improve as far as his selectiveness and his patience at the plate. But it's, he's done a good job and when he gets pitch over the middle of the plate. But this is what, Johnny, what we talk about. After we score, it's really important that you put up a 0 the next inning and you shut them down. And I thought that's what he understood and went out there and attacked his own and got us out real quick. So it takes the pressure, off of the offensive team and knowing now, hey, we just got to get outs now and got a chance to put this game away. Now, obviously they came back. We made some mistakes, made the game 5-3. So instead of being up 5-0, it's 5-3. Bring Brantley in, who's been just tremendous out of the bullpen. I know Johnny didn't like me pulling him at that time, but in a 2-run ball game, and this guy, which we saw on Sunday, hit a home run off of Chad Bonner, so we felt that we needed to go to left on left, get him out, and keep the game at 5-3.
And then another freshman coming in here, Ben Seabrook, a freshman out of Huntsville, and leads the conference with 6 saves already in the season.
It's and again, I think Ben has a very good breaking ball, and he's handled the situation extremely well. He's going to come in and throws a lot of strikes with his fastball. What we still got to do is kind of get that curveball a little more refined, because he's got a very good curveball, but it's got to be a viable curveball that they have to be worried about. But again, get in there, throw strikes, force him to swing the bat, and let our defense make plays behind him, and we were able to do it. And again, really big first win for us in conference.
And one luxury you have early in the season with these freshman pitchers is no one has a scouting report on them. As the season goes along, I mean, those will develop, but they're all doing a great job for you right now.
And that's hopefully they'll continue. But like I said, I think Coach Hancock deserves a lot of credit, because he was forced to take on to replace a lot of guys and take the freshmen and really kind of mentor them and put them in positions where they can be successful. And he's done a really good job.
A great early season win for the UNA Lions. We'll talk more Lion baseball after a quick break.
The UNA Baseball Review is brought to you by McDonald's and the Courthouse Racquet Club.
Looks like there's an opening for shipping coordinator, and I've got to pick someone. Tough decision.
Okay, you could be a rising star, but you just ordered a crispy McChicken and a fresh brewed sweet tea for only $1 each off McDonald's dollar menu. So you're smart, right? Yeah, I got nothing.
Smart man. 2 sevens.
Oh! Wow.
The fox strikes again.
The fox strikes again. He's always right. The simple joy of being smart.
Hi, I'm Mike Keene, head baseball coach at the University of North Alabama. Have you ever heard the saying, great baseball players are made in the off-season? As a college baseball coach, I can tell which high school recruits are on a weight program and which ones are not. Help your young athlete reach the top of the sport by training with the personal trainers at the Courthouse Racquet Club. Our 5 trainers are ready to work at your athlete's pace and your schedule. Try our 3andMe training program designed for 3 athletes to work with a trainer and lower the cost to fit any budget. Call Ken Irby at 764-0034 to set up a program designed especially for your young athlete. The Courthouse Racquet Club, proudly serving the Shoals for 30 years.
Welcome back to the UNA Baseball Review. Coach Keene, one advantage the UNA Lions have is a great home facility at Mike Lane Field, and had a lot of great home wins over the years, but this year a tremendous number of home games, actually 33 home games for the Lions out of a 50-game schedule, which is pretty remarkable. Even more remarkable, we played 21 games already, 18 of them at home, the next 4 at home. So how did you manage that kind of schedule?
Yeah, it's just worked really hard to find it. It was actually one of those normal games, and we had some things that happened last year. We were supposed to have Ouachita Baptist at our place last year, and they had kind of a bunch of games in a row, so we asked if we wanted to switch, and so I did. Then we lost the Southern Arkansas series, which because of the conference would have been we were supposed to go to Southern Arkansas the week that we played West Alabama this past weekend. So, and then, you have all those conferences, and then we have a mix, with the UNO, they have a conflict due to air show, so they're going to be coming up to our place. So, it's nice to have the games at home, keeps them in class, and anytime you have an opportunity to have that last at bat, which we've seen is extremely important in baseball.
And of course, always play well at home. But one thing you think you may lose by playing so many home games is by not going on the road and having a chance to experience that in adversity. But it seemed like your team's had that opportunity recently. Some great come from behind wins, and like you said, the last at bat very important. But just your team kind of building some character and feel like they can come back in any situation, especially in the Harding series. We had 2 wins in your last at bats.
Yeah, I thought that overall, I thought that was one of our, as far as our effort games. I always do. We time everybody running down the line, and I went back and I look and I checked that every time, and then we had a lot of guys that really were playing hard. And the game was 7-1 against a team that already beat us twice. You could have said, well, there's no way we're going to come back, and they just kept plugging away. And I thought the single up the middle, Michael Schmitz, was huge at that time because it kind of gave us that hope that, hey, we can do this. And then Drew Parker falls with another double. Next thing you know, from being 7-1, it's 7-5 pretty quick. And then Jake Sloan hits the home run to make it 7-6. And I'm telling you with our team, I always feel when you give us that last at bat, and we can manufacture enough, get a guy on, we can score 2 runs, and we were able to do that. Now the way we did it was pretty impressive, and wasn't anticipated. I think I've only seen about 2 walk-offs since I've been here. One was Jimmy Renteria way back, Grand Slam against Mississippi College, and Andrews got a fastball, got behind, and did a great job of staying on the ball, and he hit it extremely well.
Yeah, Andrew Allman, a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 7th and an 8-7 win. In the second game, you came back and won 7-6. You're actually trailing 4-2 in the bottom of the 6th, and a bases loaded double by Josh Carpenter driving 3 runs and put you ahead in that one as well.
Yeah, and I think again we started making some things happen, got guys on base, and it kind of rolled around. And when I saw Josh coming to play with the bases loaded, which, you look at the stats and you say, well, he's a guy that's been hitting over 500 with runners and scoring position. You feel pretty good that he's going to hit the ball hard somewhere, and and we were able to get that ball in the gap. And I thought our base runners was kind of overlooked. Our guy at third obviously was going to tag, but our runners at second and first were doing what they're supposed to do, is coming off as far as they can, and then the guy dove and missed, so it enabled both of them to score and cleared the bases. And then Andrew follows up with another double to push Carpenter in, which we found out it was a huge run in the way the game ended up.
And you've had a few guys that have kind of struggled a little bit. J.P. LeMunyon had a wrist injury. He's come back from that. Josh Sear also struggled early in the season, but both of them have gotten timely hits. Josh is among our RBI leaders, so both those guys are really battling through some adversity and really helping the team.
Yeah, I think, Josh is one of those, like the West Alabama, he had 2 big, double in the right center field, hit a home run, which was huge at us, and it just seems like he hasn't really got consistent on track. There's times, he's going to get it. The next game, he just kind of struggles a little bit. JP just being out, he was trying to make up for lost time, going about 5 for 5, so we just told him to be a good hitter. And I think his average might be out there, but his quality of bats, when he's the last about 5 or 6 at bats, I'm telling you, he's hit the ball hard. Even it's been at it, even when he's at a shortstop, he's hit the ball and he's squared it up. So I think he's had some really good at bats.
And one guy we need to talk about, Michael Schmidt, has been probably your most consistent guy, both in the field and at the plate, but hitting .377. His on-base percentage is up around 500. And as we alluded to earlier, mentioned, there's been some great defense played in the infield so far this season. Michael's a big part of that.
Yeah, Michael's a very good player, and I think when Michael stays within, and I thought you can see what he can do when he stays through the middle, and when we need to get him on base, I think he makes us go. And when he does what he did, against Harding, you can see what kind of ball club we're capable of having. Now, he's got some pop in his bat. I know he can drive a ball and hit in the gap, but when he stays through the middle of the diamond, and he covers so much ground, he's so quick out there. I know when hitting ground balls. So he just can beat you in a lot of ways. He can beat you with his glove. He can beat you with plays. He can bunt. He can steal, and he can also drive in runs. So he's really a complete player for us.
We'll take another break and have more Lion baseball for you after this.
The UNA Baseball Review is brought to you by Riccatonis and the TVA Credit Union and other shows.
I'm Riccatoni Valentino, and I've got a question for you. Do you like lasagna? Do you like spaghetti? Do you like pizza? Do you like ravioli? Do you like steak marsala? Do you like shrimp spadino? Do you like to have a good time? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you need to go to Riccatoni's in historic downtown Florence. They know how to have fun down there, and the food's great. So remember, it's Riccatoni's Italian Grill in downtown Florence, and tell them Riccatoni Valentino sent you.
TVA Credit Union was established by the Farm Credit Administration on June 24, 1936, with 7 branches full of financial experts offering personal advice. TVA Credit Union offers low rates for mortgages, auto and personal loans, as well as higher rates on savings and CDs. TVA Credit Union is member-owned and operated, and now open to the community. TVA Credit Union is everybody's credit union. Give TVA Credit Union a call today, 256-386-3000, or stop by any branch.
Welcome back to the UNA Baseball Review. Coach Keene, always early in the season, you experiment a little bit with the lineup and move some guys up and down, try to figure out what's going to work the best for you. And one of the best moves you've had this year is putting Josh Doyle in the number 2 spot. He's got great speed, handles the bat really well, and with Michael Schmidt getting on base like he does, I mean, he's the perfect complement coming up in that 2 spot.
Yeah, and I think that was probably when, looking into the season, replacing Blake Strotz was probably going to be one of the most challenging because he was such a good number 2 hitter because he could do a lot of things. And we did have JP up there early with that, and JP, is a guy that we kind of got that enabled us to get him 3, 4, 5 back to where he's in that position, and then Josh Doyle has been able to do that. So he's done a really good job in the 2. He's had to get some sack bunts down. He's got some safety squeezes, and he's also had some big hits like you saw against West Alabama that he can drive the baseball if we need be. And obviously when he gets on base, I mean, he can steal. He's leading us in stolen bases and has the capabilities of really running some balls down the outfield. So he's done a very good job at this time.
It's time for our player profile segments, and we're going to look at 4 UNA seniors on today's profile segment. Johnny Hornbuckle, J.P. Lemunyon, Jake Sloan, and Michael Schmidt, and they're 4 guys really key to your team. And Jake Sloan, a great hitter last year and just off to a great start again this year.
Yeah, and Jake is, he's played a lot of outfield this year, especially when JP got hurt. Jake jumped in there and played right field, so he can play outfield, and we feel, good with him in the outfield. It's just I think that's one of the positions that we just have more depth than any other position is in the outfield, and so to keep the speed in the outfield and get him to keep his bat in the lineup, we're trying to find out our best lineup, and to do that, he's right now being a designated hitter, we got to have his bat in our lineup.
And he's a guy that can also pitch. He had a lot of great innings for you last year, a couple of good outings. You've used him sparingly. This year, do you plan to use him a little more as the season goes?
And he actually was working out a little bit more with the pitchers with that and trying to, see what's going to happen later in the year. And he understands that if he wants to be available if needed for us to win more games. And we know he's got a good arm. But like right now, if he'll stay under control, be a good RBI guy and drive in runs, plus he can steal some bases when he gets on.
A great offensive weapon for you, and as you said, he's done some good job in defense. Here's J.P. Lemunyon. He was all-conference, all-region last year at third base. So you make the decision to move him to center field. He has tremendous speed out there, and it's really giving you an added bonus in the outfield with that great speed.
Right, and I think that's, JP, we talked about it going in. We didn't know, what we were going to do. I kind of thought about it just to kind of give him a better opportunity to kind of showcase his skills at that position, but it all kind of stemmed if we could find someone at third base to take what he was able to do. And then obviously, early in the year we're having Jordan Gurley and Andrew Allman battling for the position, but both of them are very good players, and Andrew's been able to fulfill that role, so it allowed him to play center field. And he's still learning that position. He hasn't played it a ton. He's got to still work on I think right now the ball that's hit kind of right at him, that line drive is one that he's still working on. But the thing, you watch JP, when we're taking BP and stuff, he's out there still working on his defense, but he really brings a lot to our ball club.
And as we said, he had a wrist injury, missed 6 games, but really seemed to be coming back into his own in the Harding series. Here's Johnny Hornbuckle. Guy did a really good job for you on the mound last year, started all season through the conference schedule, and he's off to a 4-1 start this year.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things coming back, that we needed Johnny to step up and take the place of Trey Mitchell, trying to be that number 1 guy when he was either going to be him or Chad. And I think that's something he wanted. And I think the thing about Johnny is he's pitched in such big games. And one of the things that we found out in the regionals last year and in the conference tournament, he is, because he did pitch a lot of the 7-inning games, we didn't know. And then once he got into there where he had 9-inning games, he can easily handle that. So it doesn't matter if it's a 7-inning game or 9-inning game. As long as we play defense behind him and keep his pitch count down like all pitchers, Johnny's going to keep you in the game. He mixes real well. He's not a guy that's going to just overpower you, just try to challenge you fastball after fastball, but he mixes real well. He has different arm slots, and his stuff is when he's and 3 pitches are on, he's very tough.
And he's a veteran for you. He's not a guy that's going to panic. Like I said, he had a couple of starts where he struggled a little bit early and just got in a rhythm and really came back strong for you. And here's Michael Schmidt, all-conference last season. We set our leading hitter this year, and just really does a tremendous job getting on base for you.
Right, and I think that when, like we talked earlier there, when Michael does what he can do best and doesn't try to overdo or try to hit some balls and lifts it a little bit when he gets in fly balls, it really doesn't help us as much because I don't get him on base. In my opinion, when he gets on base, we got to be able to steal. He can steal at any time, and a lot of times, I let him steal on his own because he knows when he gets jumped, he gets a read, and he's able to take it. And I thought we did that against Harding. He stole third. We talked about it, and he asked, "What do you think?" And I said, "If you got it, I'm going to just give a little bit of communication. If you think you got the read, let's go ahead and go for it because we got to be able to steal bases to win games late." So, but just having a real good senior year. Good leader for us, and we're going to hopefully he'll continue to go and keep us going the rest of the season.
And Michael has some deceptive power too. And aside from Allman's walk-off home run, I think my favorite moment of the season so far was the game against Harding where they waved the right fielder in close, and the next pitch Michael hit it over his head to the fence and cleared the bases.
And I don't know what scouting report they got, but I was noticing that too, and I thought, jeepers, he's about ready to burn him, and then he kind of waited, and he got that fastball, and he drove it. Because we haven't had anybody play him there. Everybody we play on scouting reports know that he has some pop in his bat, so that was kind of surprising. But I'm glad they did, and it enabled us to expand it. So
we're going to take our last couple minutes here and talk about the Gulf South Conference standings. And in the past, you had the East and West divisions, and we also played the West team, so we would know what we were facing in the conference tournament. But now 8 teams in the GSC. You're playing a 3-game series against each of the 7, and you're playing some Christian Brothers. You're playing the University of New Orleans, some people you haven't really faced in a conference type series in the past, so it's a little different for you guys.
Yeah, it is. I like it because you get to go back to playing everybody in your conference, and then obviously at the end of the season we'll have the postseason. And one thing that's different this year, every team that's in the conference this year has already made it to the GSC playoffs, so that's probably going to be the biggest change, is you don't have any surprises. And I think it's kind of neat to have Delta State back into the weekend series. That was something, when I first got here, especially in the early 90s, that was always a big rival with us, with Delta State. When they went to the West, we kind of lost a little bit that. So we got them coming to our place, and they're obviously a very talented team, and it's always going to be a good challenge and very good competition when we play them.
And we'll just run through some of the schools real quick. But West Florida ranked #1 in the nation right now, off to another great start. Even West Georgia 3-0. Of course, they swept Christian Brothers, but off to a great start. So there's several GSC teams ranked. Just how do you see the race overall?
I think it's going to be tough. I think UH is, obviously they got a game in with Delta State. All those games are close, so they're better. Valdosta, you can always, got to consider they're going to have talent with that. Now, West Florida, obviously, from what they did last year, Mike Jeffco does a tremendous job over there. They got such strong pitching, such strong defense, and they're going to be able to find ways. They keep the games close, and they're just a tough team. When they get a lead on you, it's just so hard to come back on them. So you got to almost play perfect when you play them, and I think obviously they're going to be one of the teams to beat. But but you got to play well every weekend.
I was going to say not only every weekend but every game, and hopefully that's something the guys from last year have helped instill in this team, is you're not only playing for conference standings and those opportunities but also for the region, and that's one thing that really helped you last year getting in the NCAA regional again, was playing well in the middle of the week.
Right, and we talked about it, I think I understood. I think that's why I was really proud of them, what they did against Harding after losing 2, and Harding does count in our region, so we had to get 2 wins to keep that thing evened up because you know how close it is. So every game in the midweek really counts for the regional, and now the GSC counts GSC and regional wins.
The Lions 16-5, as we mentioned right now, right in the middle of the Gulf South Conference race, heating up, and like I said, a lot of good home games coming up. So you got to be pretty pleased with where you're at.
Yeah, I think it's being 16-5, and I think this challenge with this weekend with West Florida will really get a feel for where we're going to be, and hopefully propel us into the rest of the season.
Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next week on the UNA Baseball Review.
Thank you for watching the UNA Baseball Review. Please join us next Sunday at 11:30.